Welcome all. Welcome to my channel. Please leave any comments. Today I'm going to be discussing a little, or give you a brief synopsis or brief description or introduction to DragonflyDB. Some of you guys are probably from the Redis old school of Redis or MemcacheDB or MemcacheD for that matter. If you remember MemcacheD, I'm going to talk a little bit or give you a brief description of DragonflyDB and some why you should be migrating to DragonflyDB in a ways, or not why, but at least give you some examples of what it is and such. So DragonflyDB is an open source database system that basically was thought to essentially revolutionize the ways we think about databases in that aspect, to be quite honest. It's a case where sorry about that, but I'm just got to put that there basically in that situation where that's their logo essentially. Where Dragonfly itself basically is, it's one of the key features of Dragonfly basically is its ability to handle extremely large amounts of data. So now, let's see. This is their website, which, as they describe it, is pretty much, they're saying that it's, one of the fastest memory in-stores in the universe. I did do some benchmarks, and there are others that have done benchmarks as well too. And it actually is pretty fast compared to Redis and Memcache. And the QPS with the amount of data it's that's in memory is pretty impressive in and of itself, basically. And that's why they say it's able to handle extremely large data. It uses a sort of a unique distributed architecture that allows it to spread data across multiple machines, so it can handle even the biggest data sets with ease. Now, from that aspect, with the replication part, let me get this is from their Twitter website basically, and it shows like how the replication exactly happens in this situation. I'm not going to get into detail about this. You could actually find this on their Twitter feed, Dragonfly DB, or two, you could read the documentation about it. It's just a quick synopsis to show you what like how the replication works in that aspect and like how it's spread across multiple machines from this. I should just leave it at that basically. Now another major advantage of Dragonfly, I'll leave this thing up here. So another major advantage of Dragonfly is its high performance. It uses a new type of indexing algorithm that basically enables it to search through large data sets very, very quickly. This means that it's perfect for where speed is very critical in this practice, such as like real-time analytics, or in this case high frequency tradings, which you will see people using this in this situation. But let's have to say the other aspect as well too is when it comes to caching as well too, and the way they cache is basically in this situation it's like a rather aspect of using dash table. Now there's a much larger for caching, there's a much larger way to describe this, or there's a great paper within Dragonfly. If you go into Dragonfly, with the original paper, where it tells you how dash table works in a ways. Now, but for today, I'll just give you a very quick fact about it. It's basically comprised of segments which of constant size. Each of the segments, it's about 56 regular buckets with multiple slots. Each slot has a space for a single item. The dash table's routine algorithm uses items like a hash value to compute the segment, and also it predefines 2 out of the 56 basically buckets where the items can reside within that segment. The item can reside in any free slot in between those 2 buckets. Now, in addition to the regular buckets, of course, a segment can manage 4 stash buckets that can gather the overflow of the items that do not have the space in their assigned buckets. Meaning, basically, if, some of the assigned buckets that are running out of space, it can overflow into another aspect of some of the buckets itself, basically, that falls within it. The algorithm itself never assigns the stash buckets directly. So it's one of the 2 bucket. It's only it only does occur only if it's 2 home buckets are full. Then the items are the items itself can reside in any of those 4 stash buckets. Now think of those stash buckets as more of a case where kind of like your reserves in a ways, which basically increases the segment's utilization. Now, once a segment becomes full and there is no free space for a new item, the home buckets or in the stash buckets, the dash table grows by adding a new segment at that point, and that's one of the nice features about it. And then splitting the contents of the full segments roughly in half. as you see here. And like, a bucket, of course, has X amount of slots, or K slots in this case. If you see in the image, basically, where in the last part, yeah, and that from there. Now, where if the segment becomes full, it's convenient time to add many more, type of an eviction policy to the dash table. And, this is where dash table grows. So it's a case of like the dash table can't grow as significantly as you would expect, because of the fact is you would evict items at that point and it evicts items from a full segment. That's one little drawback. So as more data comes in, if your dash table grows continuously, and if there's items that you still want that don't want to be evicted, you'll have to grow it a little bit more at that point. But at least in this situation, the eviction framework runs on a O1 runtime complexity. Now, Dragonfly definitely has a user, whoops, wrong one. Sorry. Dragonfly definitely has a what you would consider a user-friendly interface, which makes it easy for developers to work with. It has a SQL-like language. I wish I could open up something for that, but that requires, I should open up a Docker, but I'll get that more in detail if we need to, basically. But honestly, you could look at some of the videos of of Dragonfly from Dragonfly's website itself as well, too. But it supports, like, SQL-like languages, and makes it easier to write queries and retrieve data. And the system also comes with a built-in monitoring and administration tool for managing the database, which is, I don't want to say a lifesaver, but it's very, very helpful. Now, I want to say this. Overall, Dragonfly is like basically a very powerful and exciting new database system. Well over traditionally over, Memcache and Redis. And its ability to handle that large data set and, high performance, it can be suited for a large, wide range of cases. And in a lot of the cases, caching makes a perfect sense in this case. Specifically, like real-time caching, then boom, this is where you want to go into at that point. If that, this is a quick synopsis. I would say if you want to learn more about it, just go to the website, DragonflyDB.io, and then go from there and basically, get whatever information you can out of that. Basically, this was just a quick brief description or introduction to Dragonfly. It's not something I would be, working in, hands-on-ish at this point, because one, it would require much more time, and my videos I try to keep it much shorter than normal than other videos. And and again, the other thing is like Dragonfly. If you go to the website, they do have or just look up Dragonfly, and there are plenty of videos and documentation in the documentations. There are plenty of good documentation about it, as well as videos about it as well too. If you need a tutorial, put it this way: if you know Redis, you'll know Dragonfly. Well, put it bluntly. If you have any questions about it, I can try to answer them to the best of my abilities. Or worst case, leave me any comments to see if I should expand more about it, or talk more a little bit about it, or expand upon this a little bit more, and create a much larger or longer video about Dragonfly. Sorry, it's a little late for me right now. With that, I leave it at that. And please subscribe to my video. Leave any comments, as I said. And again, please subscribe. And let's leave it at that. And, I suggest don't turn on the notifications. If you subscribe, don't turn on the notifications. Only time I would say turn on the notifications only if you want to see my live stream. I did make it a policy, not a policy, but more of a resolution, a New Year's resolution, to stream at least once a week, stream live, basically. And that's only, I think that's the only time you'd want the notifications. I don't know if there's a way to notify streaming versus new videos. Videos themselves, they're not like game-changing videos, to be quite honest. And if anything else, I would love to, in my videos, basically go in depth with other people and talk about some of the technologies I'm talking about, or any of the other topics that I have in my channel, and have one of those, not one-on-one, but group chats, basically, or group video chats. It would be great. And live stream it at that point, whether it be through YouTube or Twitch for that matter, though I think YouTube makes more sense for me. I do have a Twitch account, but I rarely ever use it. But with that, I'll leave it at that, and let me know leave your comments, and please subscribe again. With that, until next time.